Number 3. The Conjured Chest. Beverly Mae Kienzle grew up with a mahogany chest that has been dubbed one of the deadliest pieces of furniture in the world. The Conjured Chest was created sometime around 1830 in Kentucky, possibly in Meade County. At the time, Jeremiah Graham was expecting a child, so he ordered one of his slaves, a man named Remus, to build a chest for the unborn child. As an aside, some accounts name Jacob Cooley as the slaveholder. For this story, we use the book The Conjured Chest, written by Beverly Mae Kienzle, because she's a descendant of the family and grew up with the chest, and she refers to the slaveholder as Jeremiah Graham. Jeremiah wasn't satisfied with the chest, and sadly, he beat Remus to death for not doing a good enough job. In retaliation, the other slaves performed a conjure by spreading an owl's blood inside the drawers, singing a mournful song, and summoning evil. The chest then supposedly became cursed. Despite not liking the chest enough to beat Remus to death, for unknown reasons, Jeremiah kept the chest. Jeremiah's wife gave birth to a son, but tragically, the infant died after his clothes were placed in the chest. Jeremiah's brother, Jonathan, also had a son. Around the son's 21st birthday, he was stabbed and died. His clothes had also been put in the chest. The next victims of the chest were John Ryan, an Irish immigrant, and his wife, Catherine. They lived on land that belonged to the Graham family, and they received the chest, which they both used. They lost all their money and became poverty-stricken. Catherine became ill and died. John planned to find work in New Orleans, but he died in an accident before he could. The chest was passed down through the family for generations. Apparently, each person who used the chest died not long after using it, including babies. The chest eventually ended up with Virginia Carey Hudson Cleveland in Louisville. In 1915, Virginia put her first baby's clothes in the chest. Her baby was born premature on August 8, 1915, and he died the same day. The baby was the chest's 12th victim. Virginia went on to have another daughter, also named Virginia, and she married a man named William Brister in 1943. Wilbur died a year later at the age of 31 from complications from an overdose. Virginia Cleveland's son, Richard, died in the 1940s after he was stabbed through the hand at school. He had put his clothes in the chest less than a week earlier. Richard was the 16th victim. By this point, Virginia had enough of the chest and its curse. Virginia asked her maid, Sally, how to break the curse. Sally said they needed a dead owl gifted by someone without asking for it. Then they needed to boil leaves off a willow tree that a friend planted. The leaves would have to boil from sunup to sundown. Next, Sally said they needed to put the boiled liquid in a jug and bury it facing east under a flowering bush because the sun rises in the east and the devil hates the light. Virginia remembered her friend brought them a stuffed owl as a gift, which she already had in her home. Her friend had a willow tree, and she plucked 16 leaves. Sally said if they really did manage to break the curse, one of them would die when the leaves on the lilac bush dropped. Sally had a heart attack, recovered, and then died in September 1946, which is when the lilac leaves had fallen. Beverly Mae Kienzle grew up with a conjured chest in a room upstairs. Her mother told her not to open the drawers on the chest. When Beverly asked her mother why, she said, "It's only for people who have died." They moved into this house in 1960, and the chest came with them from Kentucky to Maryland. When Beverly married her husband, her family offered her some furniture. Beverly refused to take the chest. Her mom kept it and retired to Florida. It was eventually given to the Kentucky Historical Society in 1976. In the book, The Conjured Chest, a cursed family in Old Kentucky, Beverly wrote that her descendants died because of slave owners' violent hatred. She wrote the beauty of a magnificent object, fashioned skillfully under cruel compulsion, contrasts poignantly with the atrocities, injustice of slavery, and the suffering of innocent victims. Number 2. Rudolph Valentino's Ring. Rudolph Valentino was an actor with volatile luck. He grew up in Italy and moved to Paris in 1912 when he was 17. He couldn't find work though, and he ended up begging on the streets for money. He went to New York City the following year, where he landed menial jobs. He eventually got a job as a nightclub dancer. He then relocated to San Francisco, California for his dancing career. He made his way to Hollywood in 1917. He got the attention of screenwriter Gene Mathis, who got his breakout role playing Julio in Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse in 1921. Afterward, he starred in a few romantic dramas and earned the nickname The Great Lover. One day, in the prime of his career, Valentino was in a jewelry shop and he came across a silver ring with a semi-precious stone. The shopkeeper didn't want to sell the ring because he said it was cursed and had killed its previous owners. The shopkeeper called it the Ring of Destiny. It was a silver ring with a tiger's eye in the center. Nevertheless, Valentino managed to convince the shopkeeper to sell it to him. Then, after a long, successful career, things started to go wrong for Valentino. In 1922, he wore the ring on the set while filming The Young Raja, a silent black and white film about a farmer who learns he's a prince in India and returns to reclaim his throne. The film was a total flop. In 1926, Valentino starred in the silent romantic drama The Son of the Sheik. He was wearing the ring at his hotel during the premiere, then his gut started to hurt, so he went to the hospital. Doctors discovered his stomach was full of ulcers. He died a week later, on August 23, 1926, from a ruptured ulcer at the age of 31. Around 100,000 people were outside the funeral home at his service. Several women killed themselves over his death. He was buried at the Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Some visitors have said they have seen his ghost. The ring was then given to his partner, Hula Negri. She held her own as a silent film star. Just like Valentino, she became somewhat of a sex symbol for her roles as femme fatales. As soon as she got a hold of the ring, she became ill. Then she passed the ring along to the next victim, Russ Colombo. Colombo was an actor and singer. On September 3, 1934, Colombo was at the home of his best friend, a portrait photographer named Lansing Brown. Brown was showing Colombo a pistol when he dropped a lit match on the cap, which fired the pistol. The bullet hit a wooden dresser, ricocheted, and hit Colombo above the eye. He was taken to the hospital, but died before his operation. He was 26 years old. The photographer was questioned by the police, but cleared of any responsibility. Brown was devastated by the accidental killing for the rest of his life. The ring somehow got into the hands of Colombo's friend, Joe Casino. Casino was an entertainer. He kept the ring under glass for months, wondering whether he should wear it. He eventually wore it, and then he was hit and killed by a truck. Joe's brother Dell then became the owner of the ring. A burglar named James Willis tried to steal the ring. Willis set off an alarm during the break-in, and the police shot him dead. Valentino's ring was allegedly in his pocket. The next ring holder was Jack Dunn, an actor who was supposed to play Valentino in a biopic. but he contracted a blood disease and died before filming started. No one knows exactly where the ring is now, but it's rumored to be in a safety deposit box in a bank in Los Angeles, California. Number 1. The Cursing Stone. With a name like the Cursing Stone, it's no surprise that this granite artwork is blamed for misfortune. In 1525, Gavin Dunbar, the Archbishop of Glasgow, Scotland, placed a curse on a group of raiders called the Border Reivers. Dunbar cursed them because the Reivers people lived in a lawless land between Scotland and England. They would pillage and rob the district. The curse is 1,069 words. Here is just a small sample. I curse them going, and I curse them riding. I curse them standing, and I curse them sitting. I curse them eating, and I curse them drinking. I curse them riding, and I curse them lying. I curse them at home. I curse them away from home. I curse them within the house. I curse them outside of the house. I curse their wives, their children, and their servants who participate in their deeds. I bring ill wishes upon their crops, their cattle, their wool, their sheep, their horses, their swine, their geese, their hens, and all their livestock. I bring ill wishes upon their halls, their chambers, their kitchens, their stations, their barns, their cowsheds, their barnyards, their cabbage patches, their plows, their harrows, and the goods and the houses that are necessary for sustenance and welfare. The curse was read aloud on every pulpit. However, the Reiver people were not intimidated, and they did not stop their pillaging. In 1603, James VI of Scotland was crowned James I of England and King of Ireland. It was a union that united the areas, and a new law was imposed so that the Reivers could not have free reign. Even though the Reivers laughed at the curse, some people believe that the curse left a permanent mark on the area. Fast forward several centuries to 2001. Artist Gordon Young was commissioned by the city of Carlisle, England, to create a Millennium Project. He inscribed Dunbar's curse on a 14-ton granite boulder with a long path with the names of the Reiver families. Young's ancestors were Reiver people, and he said that the project would scrub out the evils the families committed. The boulder was placed in an underground walkway connecting a museum and a castle. It was supposed to be a cultural link between the two sites, but some people say it's cursed the city. Even before its installation, people were worried it would draw devil worshippers. People blame the cursed boulder for an outbreak of foot-and-mouth disease. After its installation, some people believe that the curse was resurrected. In 2005, a flood killed 3 people and damaged 100,000 homes. A couple weeks later, a fire damaged a factory, putting 200 people's jobs in jeopardy. The Cursing Stone is blamed for the Carlisle United soccer team losing its rank and was relegated to a lower rank in its division. Some people want the artwork destroyed, and city councillors tried to make that happen. The Bishop of Carlisle even backed up other Christians who thought that the cursed stone brought back an evil force. But the city council rejected the motion in spring 2005. The Cursing Stone is still set up in the underpass today. Thank you so much for watching this video. We hope you found it interesting. If you did find it interesting, please make sure you subscribe. We'll have a new video about the paranormal every week. If you just discovered this channel, please make sure you check out our other channel, Criminally Listed. We have over 325 videos featuring bizarre but true crime stories. You can find it at youtube.com/criminallylisted. We also have a podcast about cold cases that were eventually solved called Criminally Listed Presents Into the Killing. You can find it on Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, and anywhere you find great podcasts. But that's all for today. Thanks again for watching.